What's up guys, my name is Darren, and even though budgeting can be one of the most beneficial things you can do for your financial health, it can also get really stressful at times. So hopefully by the end of this video, you can use these 3 tips and 3 things that I personally like to keep in mind that will hopefully make the whole budgeting process a lot easier and a lot less stressful, from entering all your income and your recurring bills to following up and keeping up with your budget for the months and years to come. So just like me, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that get really anxious when you check your bank account balance after a long weekend of having a good time. There's definitely that fear of not having as much money as you thought you had, or even worse, potentially being in the negative. That's the biggest reason why you want to maintain some type of financial budget. But before you get started with putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard onto Microsoft Excel, make sure you set a financial goal. Setting a financial goal is the reason why you should be making a budget in the first place. It's one reason to write down all your income, all your expenses, and everything else you pay for every now and then. And it's another thing to have all that written down with a financial goal in mind. Having a financial goal or multiple goals in mind before you start writing anything down can make the entire process a lot easier, because you have more of an idea of what is most convenient for you to track for your particular goal. When it comes to financial goals, you can have goals that are really general or even really specific. General could be you would like to save $100 every single month, or you would like to save 10 to 15 to 20% of whatever your annual income is after tax. You can even have a goal where you're trying to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses in your savings account within a year's worth of time. You may also lean to the route where you want to have very specific goals. For example, you may want to save money for a vacation for yourself or your spouse or you and your friends. You may also want to save up for a new car, or you want to save money to pay off a credit card bill or student loans or a car note or any other type of loan that you may owe, and pay it off in a smaller period of time. Regardless if it's one goal or multiple goals, or if it's a specific goal or even a general goal, make sure you understand what that is before you start any process of writing anything down towards your budget. So once you figure out what your financial goal is, the next thing you want to do is to decide how you want to track your budget. That can either be in an automated fashion or even a manual one. So when I actually created a budget for the first time, I did the original pen to paper. There were some things that I actually preferred over the automated version. Maybe some you'll agree with. For one, I found it really easy to put certain expenses into specific customized categories that were more convenient for me and the financial goals that I set for myself. Also, writing things down can be really beneficial for your mental health. There's websites like Psychology Today that basically say that writing things down can help you remember certain things. A lot of college students out there will probably agree with me on that. So writing those things down can make remembering spending limits and your overall budget goal a lot easier as you're buying things over a given period of time. And remembering those things can hold you more accountable to achieve those financial goals in a given period of time. But of course, pen and paper has its downsides. For one, it can take a very long time, especially at the initial point. It took me a while to gather my income and all my expenses and break it down into particular categories that help pertain to the goal that I would like to accomplish. And even now, as I've already broken it down, it still takes a while to gather all that information periodically. On top of that, you really have to make sure you're doing your math correctly, since you're doing it all manually or more than likely with a calculator, because any number off can make you assume that you're either under your limit or over your limit when it's really the other way around. So you got to keep that in mind as well. Now, alternatively, you may be someone that wants to use a smartphone app to be more automated when it comes to tracking your budget. I also downloaded an app that a lot of you guys may use called Minted by Intuit, the same company that handles TurboTax. What's really cool about that app, and I'm sure any other automated type of budgeting, is once you've gathered all your information and you remember your username and password so you can link your credit cards, your debit cards, and any other type of loans you may have or sources of income, it does all the categorizing and tracking for you. So what I found really cool is that I'll get alerts on my phone whenever I'm about to reach a certain limit, or when a bill is incoming, or just to let me know that I've paid everything and I'm caught up. So all that's really great, but you have to make sure that you're actually taking the time on these apps to put things in specific categories and give yourself these particular limits, which is the con. Because if you take so much advantage of not having to worry about the app as much, you may forget to do that. And with that, the app may forget to alert you of the certain limit that you may exceed it because it doesn't know that. And you could end up kind of coasting away from the goals that you set on your budget to begin with. So just make sure you keep that in mind as well. So picking between an automated or manual style of tracking your budget can be a lot easier when you think about this third tip, and that's deciding if you want to be an active or passive budgeter. This could potentially be the most important of the 3 steps because a lot of people say that health is wealth, and I personally agree with that. And when it comes to understanding how frequently or infrequently you want to check your budget and your status, you have to think what's best for you and your mental health. For example, with my pen to paper style of budgeting at the beginning, I would update myself every single month, but I found it very stressful doing that after the first couple of months, because every month I'm gathering a plethora of information and having to do the math. And sometimes that can take hours. And if I don't have it categorized correctly, I have to take more time to redo that. And I'm using up a lot of time just to try to get a few numbers, and that could be very, very stressful. So I went from that to updating myself bi-weekly, which is really convenient. So you may be someone that's like me, that is slightly more passive, that is willing to do it bi-weekly or even every single month if you're someone that makes a substantial amount of money and that's already financially fairly healthy, so you're pretty confident about where your money's going or where your money's coming in. So basically, over time, you may find yourself more passive because you're more financially stable. But then alternatively, you may be someone that wants to be a little bit more active when it comes to tracking their budget. So you may be someone that wants to track their budget at most bi-weekly, maybe even every single week, or you may be someone that wants to have the automated style of budgeting where you use an app like Mint and you actually want to get those updates every single day. The point is, you have to understand what is mentally best for you. Would you rather get your updates every single day, and will that help you maintain your budgeting and get to your financial goal a lot easier? Or are you okay with getting updated every single month, or categorizing everything and doing all the math once a month, if that's beneficial for your financial health and your mental health? So that's something that you definitely want to keep in mind as well. But all of these things fall in line at the end of the day. It's a lot easier to determine if you want to be more of an active or passive budgeter, for lack of better words, when you know if you want to be more of an automated or manual style budgeting. And that could be determined by what your financial goal is. If it means you have to review your finances pretty frequently, or if you're able to sit back and let things take its course bi-weekly or every single month. Whatever works best for you to overall achieve your goal, which hopefully with these 3 tips is a lot less stressful than not using them. But let me know in the comments below, what do you like to do when it comes to your budgeting, and how does it help you relieve a lot of that mental stress, and how has it helped you achieve those financial goals? Maybe there's some other tips that I haven't mentioned because there's only 3 of them, so definitely leave those tips in the comments below. I do appreciate you guys watching as always, and until next time, take care.